Yeah, I think he will, and I think
it's
there'll
the
be
ruin of tennis. Though I think there'll be so much jeering
I
and
think
whatever
there'll be
during matches.
absolute ructions.
Yeah, and the person who's playing him in the first round will refuse to play because they're not going to play him. There's going to be ructions, whatever.
Yeah.
But they've got photos now, haven't they, where he'd been tested positive and he
And on
was
the
still
next
out
day.
and about.
But he's saying they got the dates wrong.
They should have thrown him out.
Of course they should have.
Yeah, I
done.
think he should have gone. I don't
If it
think
had
they
been
should
you
have
or I,
gone.
we wouldn't have got out
In the
the.
first-
We would have been
No.
sat there and then on the next
Playing
plane.
back.
Well, yeah.
Well, what happened?
Djokovic, the
Oh.
tennis player.
He
Number
tested,
one.
he didn't test or something?
No, he's anti-vax, and he
Oh.
had it. He said he had it on December the 16th. But I mean, he could have paid any old doctor out there. They're so in love with him, aren't they? Just
Yeah.
to say he had it. I don't think he
And his
had
parents
it.
haven't done him any
No,
favours
they
in the
haven't.
big wide world.
No.
He's been crucified, tortured.
Terrible.
Oh, ridiculous.
My
Oh,
God,
did you
you
see
know.
the father? I looked at him and we looked
Yes.
at him last night. We both went, oh,
God, yeah.
I never come across him in a dark
Well,
night.
I mean, apparently he's come from terrible deprivation with the war.
I'm sure.
And but he's not exactly living in terrible deprivation
No,
now,
he's
is
not.
he?
No. No.
And evidently on the news this morning it said that he had said he hadn't been anywhere, but
That's
evidently he'd travelled to Spain and other places.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So
before Christmas.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
it had-
lied about
Yeah.
things and
He's
He said
lied.
that
I
someone-
think he's lied the whole way through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't come clean on anything. He hasn't. It's right up till he was actually forced into it.
Poor Emil's wanting to start. Emily start.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
That's all
No,
right.
it's funny because we've all started talking about something different just as Emil's going to start.
No, it's all right, don't worry. I'm learning.
If you're about to start, what do you want to talk about now?
Yes.
Something else.
Let's talk about Boris's party.
Oh,
Oh,
get me on that one.
Oh God. Oh.
Actually, I like Boris. He comes across as
Oh, he's a twat.
he's a joker.
Yeah, but he's a.
Yeah, but he's Prime Minister of this
Yeah, I know,
country.
I know.
He lied
You
to
cannot- you
get
cannot be
us
a
out
joker and
of
be a Prime
the
Minister.
EU.
No, you
I
can't.
mean, it's been lies the whole way along.
Yeah.
You better start, Emil.
Yeah, otherwise we can
Right.
start.
Oh, get on Boris, then we'll
Yeah.
never stop.
Right, we won't.
Okay,
Careful
so
of your flat.
we have that page as you have it A3 size. Cut it in the middle because that's obviously landscape. So cut it in the middle.
Can't
And-
you just turn the page that way?
Yes, you could. But it would be massive.
too
It would be big. It will be big, yes. Or yes, you can turn it that way, but again, it would be very, very large. First of all, I would map out like a road map. What do you do here, or how do you start? Best thing to start will be to add it, or to see the. Map out all the lower part, or the grass underneath here, which is in the marshland. Is that called marshland?
Yeah.
So map out how high up that is. Up
Do you
here.
want one of these?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's much better. Yes, thank you. So you map it out against the lower part of the marshland here, then up here, which is this area. First, then secondly, or firstly, would have been to go and do the horizon, draw the horizon, which is, it's about 1/5 or 1/4, 1, 2, 3, almost 1/3. It's not 1/4. It's quite large. So I would say somewhere here. So what I mean 1/3 will be, take that, move it down 2, 3, and that is 1, 2, 3, and a bit more. So I'm not exactly accurate here, but it doesn't matter. You can just move it down or move it up a bit. You can move the horizon low, or you can leave it there, or you can put it up here. Depends on what you like most. But I would say, why not to do it the way he's done it there, or she's done it there. Then you have the trees at the top. This one. So mapping out all your objects here, and then start doing the actual grass. So you've got the boat, which is off center on the right. The center is here, so it's off center, so here I would say. That's better. Then you got the back of the boat and the shape of the boat there. There. And there. One. And then you have the second one moving up there. That's interesting because it moves. It's like it's a very strange shape, but it's moving. It's out there, and then it comes and it just stops. Boats are notoriously difficult to draw because of that rounded shape at the top, and then as it moves down, you have the end or the base here, and then you have this the inside of the boat. Now I've gone too dark there because otherwise I'm working on the boats and I've left everything else untouched there. So once I've done the boats, you have the shadow of the trees onto the water. Now, as you can see, you will notice, this is basically, you have lines of, they're mainly lines, vertical lines, so I'm doing it here. Now I'm working with charcoal here, but actually, if you work with charcoal, just don't forget to use or emphasize those lines, the way you see it there. Let's do it what we see, it gives a very nice transparency when you do it with lines, instead of doing it like blocky like this, like we normally do with charcoal. Or you can give it a go with a blocky, chunky darks like this one, and then intervene with the charcoal and do, look, those lines at the top. Creates a kind of a transparency. You can you can see through. Top bit. There is no cloud. Well, there is a little bit of cloud on the left, if you wish. Not kind of like that. You don't have to go too detailed. And everything else will be just on the left-hand side. Again, it's the dark. See, that's the darkest dark. Instinctively, I started with that without even thinking. But this is actually the darkest dark in the whole drawing. Then the second darkest dark is down here, which is again some chunky charcoal patches, and then again later on adding on those chunks, adding those whatever that kind of greener, well they're not green, are they? Because in water, well they do, they are green.
Reeds.
Well,
I think they're called reeds, aren't they?
reeds. Okay, that's interesting. So you see, marking them up firstly, which I've done with very few lines here, and then, so basically to draw and put the places, or put the, well, objects as the boats, but put also whatever map you want to put. You don't have to do everything that you see. You don't have to do that in the middle there if you don't want to. So do your own input there. Well, I've just created either by mistake or just left it up there, but I think that works here. You see that? Look, but it's not there. Do you see what I mean? So that little pool here of water, it's not actually there. I've just left. Look, I'm here now.
It is there, yeah.
Well, yes, but it's here. Look, it's just under the boat.
It's not.
But it's not where I've left it here. But I think it makes a bit more of an interest if I leave it there. If you know what I mean. Look. So it creates also a little bit of a lagoon within the lagoon, like a private lagoon. Say that that's your. Say that you are there. You say, okay, I'll have my little bath here, not on the big lake. And then the reeds, as you said, Jen?
Reed, yeah, reeds.
Oh, reeds.
Reeds, yeah.
Reeds. Then you have that dark, and then look, it's interesting because the darkest dark on the top, it's the reflection itself. Look, you see, this is darker than the trees. So don't forget to look to work on those to make it darker. And once you come down here, look, that little part, or this reflection of the trees right at the top or at the bottom of the reflection is really light. So look, take that and then look, move it down like this. You see what I'm saying? Is that this, the top of the trees, you have it reflected down here. Huh?
Yeah.
So it's a lot softer, basically. Just move it, look, just move it with your fingers. That's another way of doing it. And obviously they have loads of reeds, so just move them, or add them later on to make it more of a, look like water basically. And this is interesting, the way that the top tree ends up, and it's quite rounded, just move it down here, look like that. Just don't forget to do that. Right. And to follow the same shape that the top tree is. Talking about this reflection down here. And I've said the middle island, well I do have it here, but it's actually further up, it's there. But I'll leave it here, because I think, for me, I like that more of that, well, wide space or long or big space of water there. Clean. And just put the horizon. Bit of a darker line. You have a lot more trees, but don't forget, squinting my eyes I can see darkest dark, second darkest dark, and then you have here, well this is the computer actually, that's a sign there, but it's the printing paper which I could not avoid not putting it on there. And there you have it, loads of bushes and trees, but far away, and that will give you, see, the softer, the less important, or the less drawing you put on those, on the left hand side, the further away they look. This one's here. And see, that's why the good with charcoal is. You do a line, you go there straight with the finger, and then you soften it, and then if you want to come back, obviously you can either do it with this, with a very, very sharp edge, very, very sharp edge with the charcoal, or contact. So use a combination of contact, right? Michelle, can you see through that? Can you please? Yes. Sorry that I put you right in between. And the shadow of the, or the reflection, not shadow, but the reflection of that. And you have loads more bushes and with a soft color or a soft beige or ground or dark. Well, beige because the paper is kind of beige, that's why. And then you start working and adding a little bit more of the reeds, as Jane said, and different parts of bushes here. All darker and the darker you go. I think I've gone too. They look like steps or stairs. So let's connect them. If it starts looking on you something like this, like they look a little bit like too separated, but actually it's like a very big green space there, or then sometimes you have it in yellow, but obviously there's no color here. But what I want to say is that to connect them, to make them look more like it's a continuation there than little small islands of reeds here and there and everywhere. So a bit of that. And work it through. The darker you can get, the more interesting it will be, especially on the boats. I'm going very, very dark now here, just to encourage you to go dark. Nina knows. And the reflection of the boats themselves. Well, there is not much reflection here, but I would do something like this just to make it a bit more interesting. Look, you see what I mean? Put some reflection. There is not much of that there, but look, leave a line in between the boat and the water, and then the kind of reflected shadow of the boat, and that is softer. It's softer dark on this side of the boat because it's further away. And again, bit darker, and also slightly darker there, and give them a very end, finished end at the top, right there, there. And
What I
use-
like is without even trying, you've got the perspective that just
Exactly.
Yeah.
that disappears into the distance.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
Okay, thank you. Well, one thing that I haven't done correctly is that line here, it's going upwards, and that line is going downwards. So I'm not consistent here. You see that? I've lost this. So let's connect. Look, you see the horizon here? It almost continues uninterrupted to the left. So this is what I should do now. Look. And if you have that issue, just don't forget the horizon is 1. It cannot be lower here. Well, it can be lower here if that's really close to you. But in this particular case, it's actually almost at the same line. It's still slightly lower, but it's not that much. So yeah. So yes, darken that. Look, just and then connect it with the main line, with the horizon line there. Okay, and obviously I haven't used the putty, but now it's time for you to use the putty and do anything you like there. Look, just cut the trees, I mean, with the putty. Look, or do some crazy stuff here. Why not use a very light tree? So there are trees with different color. Lighter, well, I do have a little bit of indication there, and darker trees. So why not do that? Why not shape up the putty like this, and then do that. How about this? You see what I'm? And you can do many things. You can do that down here.
Trouble is those lines they're too thick for the distance.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yes, they're too thick. They're too intense
solid
and too
trees.
solid for being that. But then look, I've done it. You can come either with a putty rubber with the finger, and then look, make them less intense and less visible, or use contact. Go on the top of that and make the line either more sharp or less sharp, or just add dark on it. Well, more or less. And then look, how about we cut that here? Just an idea, just to cut that continuous horizontal line, the horizon base, just to cut it here. Not because it's cut, but just to add something interesting there. You don't have to do it, as I said, but I'm just doing it just to see what happens. You see, you have to be, well, it's good to be curious, to say, well, it's not the case, and it's not what it is in nature, but if I do it, it might give me a nice little break there. So doing the same down here. And horizontal lines, which will suggest you, look, if I do with the putty rubber, those lines there, again, they're not there, but I'm adding them myself, look. How about I do
There's
this?
some lines there actually, done
Pardon?
automatically, because there's some lines just above the boats.
Yes, because obviously it's water. And how about I use, okay, well, let me do that, look. Give it a little bit of a dark here with charcoal, and then look, with the putty, come and do this. You see what I mean? It looks more like water. And again, sharper, just to make it, again, if nothing is happening, say, well, I want something there, I don't know, say that a fish, a carp, that's what these big fish on this lake, say that the carp just appeared on the top, and trouble the water, and you can have ripples there. Yeah? And these are fishing boats, so they're looking for the carp.
Whole new story.
Yeah, well, you're making a story there. See, why not?
Well, you could say these are some of the techniques. Go just make up your own landscape.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm creating a story, and obviously the techniques that I'm using will illustrate the story. Okay? So yes, so you create your own thing here. Again, waves or ripples. Well, they can become here. Well, they can come and be visible also here. How about this? Here. dark first and then look. Otherwise I cannot see them. If I don't darken the background, I won't do any, look at that. I won't, so darken first the background, so you have now a bit of ground, dark ground to use the putty. And how about this? I'll try it.
Different techniques, yeah.
You forgot to rub it down the
Ian just reminded me, look.
You could have it in a foggy morning, not see
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
clearly at
The
all.
mist lifting off the water.
No, it looks like Kelsey Park at 6 in the morning. Do you know where Kelsey Park is?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what that looked like at 6 in the morning.
Well, I've seen some.
Done it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I've seen
plenty
some-
of time.
Lots of
Pictures
people
that-
running, I think, aren't there?
Yeah, but there are people who post pictures of Kelsey Park in the morning, and on Facebook, on the local Beckenham. So some of them are stunning. They're so good. I mean, some of them are really good.
It's really lovely actually, Kelsey Park.
Kelsey Park is, I think, is one of
It
the.
used to be
So
ruined by
clever.
all those flipping Canada geese, though, that used to be.
Yes, well I
And
don't
they were
know.
quite aggressive. And
Oh,
Yeah.
they're still there.
Still
Oh,
there.
they're
They're
still
still
there.
there.
I
Well-
think there's quite a lot of rats as well that come out
Jane, full of rats.
full of rats, yeah.
Yeah.
People feed
I see a
people
rat every
feed
time I
the
go in.
ducks and
People
geese.
feed them, as you say.
Yeah.
So I had when we had Milo 7-8 years ago, it was somebody who had French bulldog, and he said, "Come with me at 6 in the morning. You and my dog and your dog, and we'll eat half the rats in Kelsey Park."
Oh my
He
God.
said,
Yeah.
he had his bulldog. He just let it,
All right.
and then they were just getting rats, and then
Oh.
doing twice like this, and
And
then
they're dead.
Yeah, just leave
You're
it.
not allowed to let your dogs run loose, are you?
well, at 6 in the
you
morning there's no one
You're
there.
supposed to keep control of because of all the birds there.
Yeah, well, yes, that's right.
Yeah, but there
that's
won't
right.
be birds if there are loads of rats, will there?
Yeah.
No, but the dog
They'll
was
get
going
the eggs
the
and
dogs
stuff.
was going for the rats. So.
Yeah.
And he was just crazy about, going squirrels, rats, whatever.
Oh,
But that's-
squirrels, that's good as well.
Yeah,
Bear
yeah,
gun.
squirrels, whatever they could catch. So there we are.
That's lovely.
Well, I think- Well, I could do more to it, but I don't think it's any necessary.
No,
Because
I don't
you just
think so.
try it and you will see that it will come. It will.
Try
Look.
and
Try it, and then if it doesn't come with the first time.
experimentation.
But this is it, basically, it's so easy to take a pad like this and sit somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's not raining,
Yeah.
and it's not raining most of the time, you can sit wherever you are. I mean, well, basically, preferably on the park. Even if it's cold, you can still do it in about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But it's a really nice way of sitting.
There's not enough pictures to go around. I think
Oh, yeah.
Ian's got one. You got
No,
it.
no,
No, can I have borrow your one then?
Yeah, well,
Have you
that,
got-
Sorry, you gave me yours, Nina.
No, I just handed them around. That's
So, yeah,
that was
one,
it. Thank you, that's it. Now we've got
two.
enough. You've
That's right, you've got
Ian's
enough.
Hello, okay. Well, let's finish this off. The background here, or working a little bit on the background. I've left the picture, the original picture, and I'm doing it whatever I remember now. There's no need to go back to have. It's good to have it, but if you don't want to, just leave your imagination free. Add some more trees, take some more out. Huh? So some more at the background, foreground, there. With some foreground growth here. Get the bones a bit sharper. There. There. And some trees here at the back. There, and then connect this to the left landscape background and the right one. You can connect them with a tiny amount of darks here. How about we do this bit of waves here and horizontal lines, yeah? On horizontal lines. And a little bit of ripples here. How about some ripples here? Just to reinforce the idea that you have water everywhere. Right? Ripples around the boat. There you are. Ripples here. There. Now, don't forget, you can see more of the ripples when they are closest to the viewer. Ripples at the back, you don't see them because they do connect with each other. Obviously, they are. It's on the horizon, so you do not see a lot of them. But you can add the ending of the tree. You can do some different branches of different trees here. And how about we give a little bit of clouds. Take some dust from the back from my charcoal grinding, and then add it here. Ooh. Not prepared for that. No. Yeah, that was a Conte. That was a Conte grinding. Okay, it was not only charcoal, it was Conte there. But they're all very much the same, so you don't see the. Yeah. Okay. Still, I'll take that opportunity to make it look like, what's that, flock of birds? They're flying in the same direction. You know, you do have that on the wild landscapes. So a flock of birds flying in the same direction, moving to the left. Okay, see. I'll take an expression of Bob Ross, which I've been told. That Bob Ross was saying there is no accidents, and he's happy. No, he was saying there is no accidents, it's new, happy accidents, something like that, yes. New way of dealing with issues. Now this bush here, it's reflected down on the water here. There you go. Like we do have that reflection down here of the trees above. Okay. How about we go a little bit darker on the boats and we're done. There. Dark inside the boat. There. And with the putty, you can do those, emphasize those ripples a bit lighter and down here. Sharpen the putty in a way that it gives you kind of a very pointed nose, and then come all around this undergrowth here on the bushes here. And some ripple effects here. There. There. lighter, 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 lighter. And get away completely of the dark, see? Just to make that, it's like your focal point. How about I bring it down here? Okay, see? Just just an idea, but let's see if that works. How about you bring it down here? All right, okay. Now, as I said, I took my freedoms here and completely changed it. That's a way for you to think of your own work there. Just do new things. So that's like a passage, basically. It's not bad. Well, get rid of it here. So there's like a connection with this. Okay, I like it better. I like it better this way. All right, everyone. I'll see you on the next video. See you next Tuesday video. Oh, I cannot leave that alone now. Start changing things constantly here. All right. Why not? There you are. Darker, darker, darker. Just it frames it a little bit. And frames it here as well. All right. Well, I'll see you on the next one. Now you go close. Again, I've left the original image and I've done my own thing here. Alright, see you on the next video. Bye.